Hi everyone, welcome back. Well, the update of the no ads on the channel is still the same. There's still no ads on the channel. Now, just to clarify a few things, the ad setting is on. I'm qualified to receive revenue from the ads. It's just that the ads are not playing on there for whatever reason. Now, I've got another channel, seansuniverse. So yesterday I put out a video on that channel to see whether that had the same issue, and yeah, unfortunately that's got the same issue. No ads running, so no revenue. Contacted YouTube several times. I've gone all through my settings, read lots of comments and suggestions, and basically I'm still in the same position. I'm not really any of the wiser. Don't really get any conclusive responses from YouTube as to what the problem is. So I'm just gonna try and continue, keep going. Thanks to everyone's kind comments, donations, wishes, you know, watching the videos again. They're all the old videos. They've got adverts on them. It's only the last 5 on this channel and 1 on my other channel that haven't got any adverts on them, so it's a bit strange. Don't know what's going on, whether there's any changes I'm not aware of. A lot of you have said that there are other creators that have had the same problem, so if you know of anyone that has had those issues, another channel, just, you know, drop us their channel and I'll look into it, maybe contact them and see how they got around it. But yeah, so at the moment there's no real update or news, any changes. You know, with your kind donations, I'm able to carry on at the moment, so much appreciated, everybody out there. Getting back to today's video, concentrating on this area here. I've had to rebuild all of the loose stonework, reset them back in. I'm just coming up to the area where I haven't had to remove them. That's not to say that I won't have to. But at the moment I'm just getting the area prepped, pulling out all the roots, which is rather a tedious job, I won't lie. And it's not something I relish, but it's something I've got to get on with. I just sort of switch off. I mean, it is nice to be repairing something, is that sort of satisfaction to it. But what I've had to do is kind of mix it up, do different things around the place, because if I stay in one area doing the same job day in, day out, like if I worked on this, it'd take me quite a few weeks. It just it aggravates injuries that I've got. You know, when you're in the building trade for many years, you do pick up these injuries, so I do like to mix it up a little bit. And also, you know, it depends on weather and lots of other factors like that. But it's a nice feeling to get this secured. This is our main residence, this end. The cottage, you know, there's no one in it at the moment, so it's not such a priority as this one is for us, with the winter just, you know, knocking on the door really. Beautiful weather at the moment, typical autumnal morning, sun's up, it's just beautiful. I love this time of year. Spring and autumn, by far my favourite seasons. The summer's just getting too hot. I find it really difficult to work in the heat, you know, especially when you're doing lots of jobs on your own. Yeah, they're getting there. Made some progress there. I can neaten it up afterwards, it's just really getting it secure. That's the main priority at the moment. And as you can see, all these roots are so deeply embedded into the clay infill. Yep. It's quite difficult. It does take its toll on your hands. This has to come out as well. There's no easy and quick way to do this. What I normally do is do an hour or so in an area and then go and do something else. Today I'll be going up on the roof. Weather's nice. Replace those broken tiles and just rotate it like that. Gives your body a bit of a break then. There's just so much of it. When you pull the roots out, brings out these little stones. They've got to go back. A lot of those are wedges to hold the bigger stones in place. It is satisfying when you pull something like that out, weirdly enough. If it weren't for the fact that it really shreds your hands and your wrists, it'd be quite a nice therapeutic job, nice and quiet. You know, you just switch off. But at the end of the day, it really does take its toll on your hands. It's just the repetition. And you look at the weather forecast and you think, right, it's going to be dry, sunny day, not too hot. And then all these jobs come to the forefront of your mind. Right, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And you get a little bit overwhelmed with everything that takes priority, so you just have to calm it down a little bit and prioritise. And at the moment it's the wall and the roof. With any large job like this, you know, I've got quite a few metres to cover. Don't look too far ahead, just bear that in mind, but concentrate on an area. Just keep literally chipping away at that, and then at the end of the week you stand back and you look and you think, yeah, I've made a difference. I think that is the key with any of these jobs that seem really overwhelming. Quite often the hardest part is just starting. Once you get into it, you do tend to switch off. Now, at the same time, I have to keep it interesting and engaging for you. Not everyone wants to just watch, you know, hours and hours of footage of pulling weeds out the wall, but it is a necessary job that I need to do. So maybe we'll have a look around the garden a bit later, see what's going on there. Don't forget to check out my other channel, Sean's Universe. I'll put the link in the description. In the last video that I put up there, I'd say it wasn't monetized, no adverts running on there, but nevertheless it's a good video. So, you know, if you like seeing historic places, a little walk around tour. I went to a medieval town about an hour away from where I live. Not look round the chateau there. Very interesting place, some lovely parks, and I walked around the streets as well, so that's well worth checking out. Nice and relaxing, and it was nice to step back and have a look around somewhere new for a change. Yeah, there's something just really calming and relaxing when you get a nice autumn day. Got my chair. Let's sit back up here. I've got quite a few pears on the ground here, so make sure there's no hornets. But yeah, just have a sit down and relax. So that's the next section of the roof I'm going to be going up on. I've finished on that side, so I've got to strike the scaffold, move along, go up into that section. Quite a few broken tiles there, pretty easy to replace. It is slow progress, but it is progress nevertheless. The farmer has been collecting the apples and pears to make his cider and calvados. It's very unique for the area because it's a mixture of apple and pear, Domfronte's speciality, and yeah, occasionally I have a little wee dram. They're in my local village at the weekend. They had a country fair there and it was the best it's ever been there. You know, there was so much going on there, lots of plants, demonstrations of, you know, products. And there was a setup for pressing apples and pears, and they had the horse there. And the horse was turning the stone wheel. It was all how it was meant to be back in the day. It was all recreated. And they had the press there, and they was taking out the mash, which is like the broken up apples and pears, putting it in the press. They was pressing it down to squeeze it, and out was coming the juice, and it was producing buckets and buckets. And they was filling up cups and handing them out to people that were watching. Yeah, and they gave me a glass and I drank it, and it was absolutely beautiful. Not too sweet, nothing like what you'd buy in the shop. But yeah, it was really nice to see ancient processes like that still being carried out. You know, you don't lose the knowledge then. And there's so many little hamlets around here that have still got all those presses. So like I say, I've got the press. I haven't got the stone trough. I've got a few sections. Don't know where the rest of it is, maybe buried somewhere. But yeah, it was just a lovely day out. Great atmosphere. There was a Michelin star chef there doing a chopping and cutting and food demonstration. It was really good. Live music there. Yeah, a real nice place. That's why I love autumn. You get all those lovely things. Now what I have noticed is lots of the hornets and that tend to be going onto this ivy. Not so much the fruit, believe it or not, but the flowers on the ivy. So that might be an idea if I'll get that off of the tree, if possible. Let's check in on the neighbours. So nice to see them out in the meadows. I spoke to the farmer that's been harvesting all the apples and pears, and I said, is it a good year for the apples and pears? And he said yes. He said we've had so much fruit on the trees, lots of them are losing their limbs where the weight of the fruit is causing them to snap. There's not so many in this field, but in the field behind my house there's quite a few that have got broken limbs. Let's just check in on some of the raised beds. Sometimes stuff grows so quickly, you turn your back, you come back and you got half a dozen cucumbers all of a sudden. Done really well with butternuts this year, butternut squashes. A little cauliflower there. Never had much luck or success with those, so fingers crossed. I think there's another one in there somewhere. Yeah, quite sure. The runner beans wasn't, you know, very good this year. English ones. We'll let that get big. We'll collect the seed from that and hopefully plant it next year. Peas didn't do anything. Got broccoli on there. That seems to be doing okay. We've got so many sloes this year. I think Sam's going to do some sloe gin. We've got some golden raspberries. They're doing really well. It's just getting into the jungle at the moment. Peach tree done really well. Couldn't get in there, couldn't get to them. So that fed the birds. Yeah, it's always the stuff that's out of reach that seems to be the best kind of fruit. That's always the way. And then we've got this apple tree here. I don't know whether you remember. The wind blew it over. I cut it back and then stood it up the best as I could. And look at the growth on this. Now whether or not it'll ever fruit again, I don't know. but it really has come along. Hopefully it will fruit again, because the apples on there were beautiful. This was heavily laden with apples. Now the skin doesn't look very appetising, but the apples are very, very nice. It's a certain variety. I had so many apples off of here. And then we go through here and we've got some figs. Now we've never actually had the opportunity to eat the figs. There's plenty of figs on there this year. There. I think they have to stay on to the next year. There's quite a few on here. I don't know whether it's a certain variety that has to stay on to the coming year. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on them. Lots of things are pretty much finished now. Had a really good harvest with our cherries this year, as normal. You know, they produce really quite a lot of fruit every year. They're dwarf varieties, so they're easy to pick. We've got 3 trees that keep us more than enough supplied with fruit. We got pear, plum, they all done pretty good. Didn't have any success with pumpkins much this year. Didn't seem to have any almonds this year. I think one almond. Yet the year before, we had a good few handfuls, only just been planted. Maybe it takes a few years to get established. Yeah, I think this area is going to need to be all pulled out. Going to leave some of the greens this side, yeah. Broccolis are doing okay, which is great. Other than that, what we got on here? Yeah, no, pumpkins didn't come to nothing. Now sometimes with stuff like pumpkins and squashes, I don't know whether they get like cross-pollinated. Sometimes you plant something and you think, yeah, that's going to be that, and then when it grows it's something completely different. So I don't know whether the bees and that pollinators have something to do with that. Yeah. Well, it's nice to get back out in the garden. That's a cucumber. Something started to gnaw that. I thought I had another cauliflower in here. Seems to have disappeared. Now we planted a quince. First few years it was doing really well. Not so much this year. Anyone out there knows why? Judging by the leaves, normally tells you quite a lot, doesn't it? Doesn't look like it's enjoying maybe where it is at the moment, although it was thriving. Yeah, it's quite important, this tree, to us. That bay tree is going to need some attention this year. That grows so quick. It was only a few years ago that I cut that right back, right down to the ground virtually, sort of 6 foot high. We certainly don't go short of bay leaves. Same with the walnuts. The squirrels have been so busy over the last few years, we've got walnut trees popping up everywhere, which is never a bad thing. there's one there. That's an okay size. I mean, this tree's only been going 5 or 6 years. I might as well grab the rest while I can. Yeah, this looks like it could do with a spruce up as well. I'll jet off, start using it again, this area. Now it's not so searingly hot. We've got the honeysuckle, beautiful fragrance from that. Created a little tunnel this time with it. Don't know whether you remember, but we had a structure going over the top. So I've redesigned it. And I've got some tidying to do. Not much chance to use the hammock this year. You know, I think sometimes it's important just to stop and sit down. Don't lose sight of what you're doing. It's easily done. You get your head down and you just keep sort of banging away at it, and you forget to stop. And like they say, stop and look and stare. You know, at the marvel that's around you, really. You know, the flowers and the plants. Sit down, even if it's 10 minutes, just listen to the birds. Feel better afterwards. Sam picked this up the other day. Company was giving them away, so we got one of these and we're going to do an upcycling project with it. Something for outside. At first glance I thought, well, it'd be good for an umbrella coming out of there. Look, sunshade. Yeah, I think Sam's got some ideas what we can do with it as well, so it'd be an interesting little project. And don't forget for those little birdies. So yes, I'll keep you updated with any news. Fingers crossed, you know, we can get back on track. But thank you everyone once again for all your support, your donations and all your kind comments. I really couldn't got this far without you. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with some better news. Bye for now.